Hi everyone. Today we are going to speak about Dhurandhar the Revenge. I obviously had given a very short review yesterday, even though it was for 5 minutes. So you can well understand that today we are going to speak about in detail a very comprehensive review of Dhurandhar the Revenge. Now I just want to let you know that this will be a completely unedited, unfiltered, um, absolutely unhinged version. So you'll see me looking here and there. I'll be checking my notes as well on my laptop just to see what are the things that I've written. So bear with me and please don't mind, but I have always seen that this kind of unedited reviews are actually they actually garner a lot of more responses, and you actually show your true feelings rather than going through a script in general. So Dhurandhar the Revenge in general, to me, I just felt it was kick-ass. It's a terrific film, very, very, very well-made film. Most probably, it'll set new benchmarks on how action movies and uh, good masala movies should be made in India. So, in general, in nutshell, that's the core review of the movie. But again, just to go a little bit in depth and a comparison with Dhurandhar Part 1, I'll obviously speak my mind. So it's the same way that it is being treated for Dhurandhar Part 1 as well. There are chapters. I think there are 7 to 8 chapters, which is being broken down here. So from chapter 1 till chapter 8. Chapter 1 is showcasing the rise, basically not the rise and fall of Jaskirat Singh Rangi, who becomes Hamza Ali Mazari, and why does he become like that. So there is obviously a backstory which is extremely heart-wrenching, which is extremely sad on why he became what he became. He was going to enroll for the army, he was already training for the army, and then there are certain tragic incidents that happens in his family, because of which he actually does something incomprehensible in general. Like, the things that he does obviously makes him wanted criminal, and then he sort of is on trial, and then during the trial, when he's transferred from one jail to another, that's when he's being pulled by Ajay Sanyal and recruited to play the part of the Indian agent uh, as part of the Dhurandhar project in general. So that's what happens. Um, they are a family of army people. As I mentioned, I'm going to check my notes. So Ranveer's family is basically a family of army people. His grandfather was an army person. His father was an army person. He also enrolled himself, but then things turned south, and he was where he was. Now, it was very clearly mentioned that Ranveer will be declared dead, and his family will get some sort of money as pension and PPF, because of which he will be enrolled and will try to do the things that he'll be doing in Pakistan. And that's where it sort of mentions. So the first 30-45 minutes is basically narrating Jaskirat's story, which is obviously required just to understand why he did that. And then directly we go back to Pakistan, and the story starts from where it left in part 1. So actually, Rahman has died. Now, who will be the next person in line? And then Arshad Pappu sort of tries to become the person, tries to become the throne king of Liari in general. And then how he's sort of eliminated in between, how things manifold will become the core crux of the story. So Dhurandhar Part 1 was basically about world building. It was about why, Hamza's rise from where he is, his backstory, everyone's backstory in general, and the nexus of Pakistan's terrorism activities are being shown very clearly in that film. Here, the movie is all about revenge. It's much more massier, it's much more clearer in picture. It shows why Hamza is doing those things that he's doing, obviously for the sake of revenge, and his rise to the throne, how he sort of eliminates one person one after the other, is sort of the core crux of the story. So these are the two different narratives of part 1 and part 2. Now, when I was looking in the first half of the part 1, which is obviously very long because it's a 4 hours movie, so it was almost close to 2 hours when the interval happened. So the first part, if you compare the first part of Dhurandhar the Revenge along with the part 1, I thought it was not as well built as part 1. So I was thinking, okay, where is it going? Is it going to make a lot of sense going forward? But come second half, absolutely, like the first sequence of the second half in itself is a terrific sequence. The first 10, 15, 20 minutes of the second half, it's such a terrific sequence. There is a very core emotional scene between Muhammad Alam, played by Gaurav Gera, and Ranveer's character, and how their relationship sort of went where it had to go. I obviously can't reveal a lot of things, but it was a very, very emotional moment and terrifically performed by both the actors, like Gaurav Gera and Ranveer as well. And then his life in general, how it sort of moves. In the first half, there is a very core sequence of introducing Bade Saab. I think I sort of revealed in my previous video as well that whom I think it is Bade Saab, and most of the reviews right now are sort of mentioning his name, but my prediction was correct of what I thought who Bade Saab is. But the very interesting part was that the way we have seen that particular person, Bade Saab, in other films is so differently depicted in this particular one as well. Like, you can't imagine Bade Saab in that particular reason, and why is in that particular state is something that will be revealed at the end. So the core building, the nitpicking, and the tying of each aspect of the sequences are so nicely done that you will forget about the small issues in the film which are there. Like, there are certain CGI issues, there are certain VFX graphics issues of a hand grenade, of the hand of a jet launcher, of car crushing together. These are all very small aspects, which technical aspects, which obviously is being highlighted, but the world building in general is so authentically done that you will forget about those aspects. You will absolutely won't remember all those aspects in general. Then how your alignment from one political party to another political party changes. There is a very core sequence of Nawaz Sharif being mentioned as Nawab Sharif, and he also plays a part, like why are people changing alliances from one party to another, also plays a core part out here. Politics of how people rise is a very core aspect of this movie out here as well. Like, why are people doing this? What are people doing to actually safeguard their backside is something very core and essential here, which is very similar to what India also does. India's political power and their ascent to the throne, how many people they have to step down to actually reach there. Those things are very, very similar. So politics is mostly similar across everywhere, and here it is no different as well. We have heard a lot of stories about Leari, and there is a specific story that we have heard that they actually cut their heads and play football with it. There is a sequence of that in the film. I will not mention whose head it is, who played it with whom, but there is a sequence. So those nitpicking details, the authenticity that it is being shown in terms of the research and how this sort of portrait is very, very well done and very well maintained. There are cameos as well. There is a specific cameo done by Major Iqbal, played by Arjun Rampal's father. I won't mention who the cameo is, but it's a very core sequence, and their relationship is also very shown. I won't say nicely, it wasn't a nice relationship in general, but at least how their tensions between their relationship is evolved, and why does that relationship exist like this is something also being shown nicely. That one cameo is pretty nice. There's another cameo which I think is already being mentioned in a lot of other reviews as well, along with the fact that we already knew that person would be actually doing a cameo as well. I thought it was unnecessary. It could have been done by any other actor, but and it didn't weave correctly into the narrative, but at least it was a nice thing to see that particular person in that cameo as well. There are a lot of sequences which are inspired by foreign films, such as there's a hospital sequence where I'm mentioning about this particular cameo who plays a part, and how that particular person actually kills one person in the hospital is sort of taken from Kill Bill as well. So there's a lot of homage and a lot of tribute being paid to the top-notch filmmakers. So that's also there. Now, if you do remember the iconic Rahman Daket scene in how he sort of enters the Balochistan area and that particular song, the music that actually became a rage, a cult, and a trend. It's a similar, another similar kind of a very popular song is being now showcased on Ranveer, because right now he's the king of Lahari, he's the Shere Baloch, and once he enters Balochistan, there's a very, very popular music that is being showcased. So you'll find a lot of similarity there. You'll find a lot of whistle-worthy moment there as well. But again, I don't know whether it'll become so much popular or not, because this music is already known by a lot of other people as well. Then there are other aspects to these movies which are also very crucial, and that forms a part of the Pakistan nexus and how Indian politics is also being showcased. So obviously we see timelines. By the way, this movie actually starts from the timeline of 2002 when Jaskirat's backstory is being told, till almost, I didn't see they told the ending, but I'm guessing it will be somewhere around 2016, 2018. So a lot of sequences of Indian histories and backstory is also being shown, like Narendra Modi's swearing in 2014. Then demonetization plays a huge part in this movie. Why was demonetization required is a very essential core crux, because of the Pakistan counterfeit notes being sort of transported into India. That plays a very, very crucial part. And why was demonetization required also plays a very crucial part out here. Then the Khalistani movement also plays a huge part. It is not a very core part of the story, but at least 20 minutes is being spent on that. And why a particular person became a Khalistani rebel is also being shown. Not a rebel, jihadi, I'm sorry, rebel might not be the great word out here. But why does it become a jihadi is being shown out here. So there's a very core aspect of Khalistani movement as well. There are aspects which mention about Uri, about surgical strike as well. Not the movie, the actual Uri sequence, what actually happened, and the surgical strike post that. So my timeline, which I thought about Jaskirat or Hamza's, which I've mentioned in my previous video, is not correct. And I'm happy that it is not correct. So the timelines are very different. And but it actually covers a lot of other aspects apart from the Pakistan terror nexus, apart from the other aspects, and how those particular angles actually shape up the politics starting from 2014 till where we are currently will be shown. There is the fight this time is a lot about drugs, the Khalistani movement. Why are drugs being supplied to Punjab? Why does Pakistan want the Punjab youth to have drugs is also being showcased as well. So that also plays a huge part. UP politics, demonetization and UP politics, and how it changes, and how there are angles when they mention that they require a very solid, authentic person in UP politics is also sort of mentioned. They don't go further that, but all these aspects have tied up very nicely. Demonetization, UP politics. Why is UP an integral part of demonetization also comes into the picture. Then demonetization operation Greenleaf, as they call it, will come into the picture as well. There's a very, very popular sequence which is there in the trailer, which is there in the first part as well, where Zahoor Mistry, who was the kidnapper, who was the terrorist in IC 814 kidnapping, mentions गोदे भर का जोर नहीं है, गोदे भर का जोर लगा लो, बिगाड़ लो जो बिगाड़ सकते हो, पड़ोस में ही रहते हैं. There is an ending to that particular scene which is whistle-worthy, which is terrific. Like absolute, like people were shouting, hooting once that actually came through. So please stay tuned for that particular movie as well. If you do remember, there's a particular line in the movie, in the trailer as well, where they mention, where Major Iqbal mentions that I actually cut one Indian agent's head and put it on Musharraf's desk. So मुरीद के किनारे में मैं और एक Indian agent को मार के उसका सर लटकाऊंगा. There is, so Major Iqbal, who is also known as Ilyas Kashmiri, there is a popular picture of Ilyas Kashmiri holding an Indian agent's head. So I'm telling the nitpicking, the research that they have done and how they have integrated it into the lines of each of the lines of the movies is very well done in general. Now, these are all the aspects As I mentioned, the revenge will play a huge part. How Hamza or Jaskirat actually eliminates one person after the another is actually shown very nicely. Now, coming to the ending, I've always mentioned this, that an ending of a movie sort of determines how this movie is going to fare in the box office, along with the fact whether people like it or not. The last 1 hour, specifically the last 40 minutes, is something that you will cheer and hoot. There were whistles, there is a twist, there are whistles. Obviously, we can't mention any about that, but it is one of the most terrific last 1 hour or 40 minutes of a movie, not just because of the revenge, but because of a lot of things that actually happen after the revenge as well. There are certain sequences post credit, there are certain sequences absolutely at the end when the post credits are over and there is a small sequence, which I think wasn't required, but at least most of the sequences in the last 1 hour is so whistle worthy, so clap worthy. People were hooting, shouting, cheering. It felt like I'm back into 2001 when Lagan released. When Lagan released, it was some kind of hooting and cheering, and this is what I felt during this movie as well, absolutely, at the last 40-45 minutes. So stay tuned, you will love the movie. It's one of the best films that have come in the last 10 years as well. There is no doubt, which I mentioned in yesterday's review, that this will be one of the biggest blockbusters, if not the biggest blockbuster of India. Like, it's a terrifically well made film. Coming to the performances, if Ranveer Singh doesn't win an award next year, I'll change my name. I'm going till that level to mention that. It is physically demanding performances plus core emotional performances. There are scenes of his life, of his past life, how it ends, the last scene, and the expressions that he has given. There is a specific sequence between him and his wife, which is also very nicely depicted. So it's not only that it was a physically demanding, challenging role, the way he sort of elevates himself to being the king of Leari, to be a very ruthless person, sort of completely changes when he's in an emotional role. So it is completely out and out Ranveer's film. This one, like the last one was Akshay Khanna's film, he became what he became. This is completely Ranveer Singh's film, and as I mentioned, there is no award that he won't win the next year as well. The rest of the people, Arjun Rampal's backstory as well, his relationship with his father is also very nicely done. We didn't expect that it would be sort of dealt very nicely, so it was nicely done. Gaurav Gera was terrific in a very, very small role. But there's, as I mentioned, there's a specific sequence just after the second half where Gaurav Gera and Ranveer Singh's character has a discussion, and how his character plays out. It's a terrific scene. Like, it was such an emotional moment, that particular scene. Please don't miss that. It's very nicely done. Sara Arjun scene, that one scene with Sara Arjun, and I think that's there in the trailer as well, where he sort of points a gun at him. It's sort of so nicely done. So everyone has performed their role nicely well. Jamil Jamali, like Rakesh Bedi's character, will be a hoot and a half. I can assure you for that. It will be a hoot and a half. His character is one of the terrific characters written in the scene. So Arjun Rampal, I mentioned Sanjay Dutt also. Sanjay Dutt doesn't have so much of scope out here, but there are songs and sequences that are being played in each of these characters which are terrific. So Shashwat Sachdev, no words are enough for Shashwat Sachdev's music, the background score that he has given for each of those sequences. It's terrific. Like, there's this one very neat picking scene which I saw at the end. So most of the songs which are based when he is Pakistan, Jaskirat or Hamza, are all qawwalis or maybe a little bit of rock and pop which are being mixed with qawwalis as well. Then there's a sequence that comes in India and it becomes Hindi classical music. That's the nitpicking of Shashwat Sachdev's music, which is so terrific that I can't say, like, no praise is enough for that person, what he has done for this film. And I'll be looking forward to what he does, because he's one of the most sought after, he will be one of the most sought after musicians after this. Then finally, I think that I've spoken about the performances. Now comes to speak about Aditya Dhar. I'll make a separate video which will be sort of a letter to Aditya Dhar as well, but he has changed the paradigm of how Indian movies should be made going forward. I will go up to that level. Like, I won't say that um, like small films will be changed. I think it will remain the same. But how action movies, massy movies, how action sequences are shot, how emotional sequences are shot, how details are being covered, how research are being done is something that everyone should start learning from Aditya Dhar. I'll obviously make, as I mentioned, a separate video out of this, but no praise is enough for that person. What he has done with this movie, he has changed the he will most probably change the narrative and the paradigm of how Indian Bollywood action movies, or for that matter, Indian action movies should be made. So less sequences of VFX, so less sequences of CGI. The scene of action sequences. So there's a scene where at the end where Ranveer Singh's, there's a chain that is being sort of kept around Ranveer Singh and it's sort of pulled, and you will feel the tension, you will feel it happening with you. There's no word enough for Aditya Dhar of how he has made this movie. So like full marks to him. And as I mentioned, I'll create a separate video out of it. Now comes a very, very, very important point. A lot of people, the reviews will come out very, very slowly right now of how people will like this movie. Now the core crux will remain whether a lot of people will like it or not, because again, it is anti-Pakistan. It is, a lot of people say it's anti-Muslim. I don't think it's anti-Muslim. The first part was at least an anti-Pakistan film, but this part, there is a specific line in the film which I believe is the core message of the film as well. There is a specific line which mentions that मुझे पाकिस्तान से कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, मुझे पाकिस्तान के ये जो एलिमेंट्स है, ये टेरर एलिमेंट्स है, उन लोगों से दिक्कत है. And he also explained that how these terror elements are also disturbing and creating issues in your country as well. The things that have happened in Quetta, or for that matter in Lahore, the things that Pakistan or ISI are doing with Baloch is something that is also being explained here. So like a lot of people might find this as an issue. Yes, there will be sequences where people will think that Congress, or for that matter, the opposition party is not being shown in great light. The ruling party is being shown in great light. Yes, that is there. I don't decline that. But at least the core message of anti-Pakistan is being very clearly highlighted, that there is no problem with Pakistan, or for that matter, the people of Pakistan in general. The problem is with the elements and the nexus of terrorism angles in Pakistan, and that's being very clearly mentioned in one of the movies. So I don't think people should have a problem, but I didn't have a problem. But I know there are a lot of critics who are maybe left-wing, maybe not right-wing, and they'll try to like dig up something to actually show that no, this movie is not a great movie. Leave politics apart. It is such a well-shot, technically such a terrifically well-made film that you can't find fault, at least on the technical aspects, along with the storytelling in terms of research. So this is it. Sorry, it's a 24 minutes review. I can see that, but this is what I feel about the film. There is no records that it won't break. Like in the next few weeks, there are no movies that are there because, and they did a good thing by not releasing, because they would have fallen flat in front of this film. So it will change the course and paradigm of how Indian movies should be made. It will change the box office culture in general. It has opened new doors for people to actually think about new avenues on how to make action films going forward. And in terms of research, just kudos to Aditya Dhar. So thank you so much for watching this video. I know there will be a lot of reviews that will be coming out along with mine. So please stay tuned, but do not miss this movie for anything. It is a must watch. It is a terrific film. The last 1 hour is whistle worthy. It's worth the money itself. So please go watch the movie. And in case if you have already watched it, please share your comments. Share your comments in the comment section. And if you have liked this review, please share and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.